Hi everyone, Dave here, welcoming you back to the channel for what I plan to be a very kind of quick video. First of all, happy Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you. Um, I felt like I would try to capitalize on this day, mainly trying to milk a video for views. Just kidding. um, Not really, but kind of. Uh, Basically, I have been wanting to make a video on this. I just didn't really think of the right time. And then Star Wars Day creeped up on me and I kind of forgot about it. And I decided to just go ahead and do it. And that's why this video is probably going to be a little all over the place. But I wanted to talk about the Star Wars. Now, I know this isn't a manga. This isn't an anime. It's a little different. It's not really par for the course here on the channel. But I thought in honor of Star Wars Day, we'd make an exception. This is a comic by Dark Horse. This kind of is the trade paperback, right? I think. um, but this is a comic by Dark Horse that is based off of George Lucas's original rough draft interpretation of Star Wars. So this was the first, like, what George Lucas had initially intended Star Wars to be. And this isn't really going to be a review because I think this comic is super interesting and would recommend all Star Wars fans give it a read. This is going to just kind of be more of a little overview and a slight discussion on it. That's why this video is going to be a tad shorter than normal. But basically, this comic is super interesting. It's like if you took Star Wars and like made it in a parallel universe, you would get this. And it's super cool because every character is like kind of sort of the same. You could really tell what George Lucas was going for when he initially wrote these characters. But how they're portrayed in this manga is obviously different from the ones that we know today. Like, for example, the main character is Anakin Starkiller. He is raised by his dad, Kane Starkiller, and his dad was like this old kind of war hero Jedi who served with, just to make sure I have my info correctly, who served with, Luke Skywalker, right? Yeah. And it's like an old Luke Skywalker. I know these are backwards. I apologize. Hopefully you can see. This is very good artwork too. That's something I also want to touch on. Is the art in this book is really well done. Whoever did the art did a great job. You can see the menacing, like, on Darth Vader. This is Darth Vader too. This is their interpretation of Darth Vader. There's a lot of cool themes going on here that make this a lot more regal, I think is the word I'm looking for. A lot more feudal, maybe, in some aspects. Like, there's an early scene where they're, in the town, like in this city square, the Empire, and they're like, over here, like talking and having a speech and everything, and there's people in the crowd. Oh yeah, death to the Jedi. And that's not something that, at least if I'm remembering correctly, that's not really something you would see the current Empire do. And so I find this kind of other thing he took, this other theme he took, excuse me, to be very interesting because, again, it's very regal, it's very like feudal, it's very like a dictator or a harsh king talking to his subjects, and not just the, what's the word I'm looking for? And not just the, overwhelming army that we currently see in Star Wars, if that really makes any sense. Like, you wouldn't see Kylo Ren going out and talking to a group of people and having this this big speech and this big, death the Jedi counselor thing that you would in this book. And again, the way it seems a tad more political as well, which I find very interesting. Of course, you've got your action and you've got your, your typical stuff. Princess Leia is still very familiar. If I'm remembering correctly, they're not really like related or anything. The clones tend to be their own soldiers. I don't think I don't think we got, and again, and I gotta admit, I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I'm not super up on the lore. I haven't seen the new movies, and the ones I have seen, I'm a casual Star Wars fan at this point. I thought the new movies weren't that bad. Um, the two that I did see, I didn't see nine. I thought Solo sucked. I hated Solo. I hated that so much. Um, but anyway, so I don't know if the stormtroopers have always been considered clones. I mean, obviously we've seen that's not true with characters like Finn, being different than everyone else. But in this comic, they tap into that as well. Where was the page I was on? The storm, like this guy here is different. They kind of have their own personalities and their own features and everything, which again is very interesting, and that's something that the original trilogy didn't tap into at all. I mean, the stormtroopers were just basically the red shirt guys from Star Trek. They were just there to die or to be defeated. And then obviously in the Clone Wars and in the original the prequel trilogy, we kind of learned that, hey, these guys are all literally clones of one another. And then it was only until recently that we kind of dove into that a little bit more and been like, no, these guys, some of these guys are just people, like they're just actual people. Another interesting thing is all the lightsabers are red, which I thought was super interesting, because it kind of makes Jedi and Sith not as distinguishable. When you think of lightsabers, you think of the different colors. At least that's always what I feel, or that's always what gravitates, like what draws my attention. And the fact that George Lucas was originally going to choose all red for everything, I don't know. It maybe this is me just being pretentious and reading too much into it, but I feel like it was maybe some sort of, I don't know if it was like much of a statement, but it was definitely like a way of even though they're on opposite sides of the Force, it's a way of like tying both things together, if that makes sense. Like more than just they're tied together by the Force, they're also tied together by their weaponry now. And I just found that to be kind of interesting. And again, that may be a very small thing. That may be something that I'm reading a little too much into. But it was something that I admittedly found pretty interesting. Because it again isn't something that you see in the current iteration of Star Wars. There's some different ship designs. There's different designs of C-3PO and R2-D2. Like this is C-3PO here. It's probably not the best photo or drawing of him. Well, the drawing is great, but like not the best one I could have picked. But like the ship designs are different. It's very cool. It's a very cool take, and it's honestly something that when I saw it, and like look, like you wouldn't really see Anakin Starkiller in this instance, but Skywalker like using just a straight up axe. Like that's just not something you would see. So it's a very interesting comic to see literally see a different side of Star Wars and stuff that it feels like we were almost never meant to see stuff like this, because and then Anakin gets his white lightsaber, which is pretty cool. I forgot that was in here. But yeah, it's just a very cool iteration. It's really interesting. It's got a lot of character. It's got a lot of charm. And it's honestly something that reading through it, I'm like, man, in a way, I kind of wish they went with this initial rough draft. This seems more military and political than just the utilitarian bad guy, good guy, which I guess from a story perspective is a lot easier for people to understand. And not saying I'm some fucking genius, and not saying that you have to be a genius to understand this or anything, but the way that the sides kind of blend together, like there's this end part where, well, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil anything for you. That's why I'm trying to be vague, but it just comes across as me not knowing what I'm talking about, which can be true in any aspect, but but I'm intentionally trying to be vague because I recommend reading it and I don't want to spoil anything for you. But the lines become blurred a lot more blurred than they normally would be with just light side, dark side, Jedi, Sith, good guy, bad guy. And you have, like I mentioned with the lightsaber colors, you have subtle artistic things that kind of draw your mind to that. But you've also got actual characters kind of weaving their way between both sides. You know, like I keep saying, blurring the lines between good and bad, and I find that to be very interesting. And I find that a lot more interesting than just a cookie cutter. You're a bad guy. You're a good guy. Narrative, which isn't bad. I mean, obviously, Star Wars is the most popular franchise in the world, or at least one of them. It worked. It obviously worked. But I think, honestly, I would love to see a film of this. I kind of wish that George Lucas just went with this. I understand why he didn't, and to be honest, Star Wars probably would have been a way more niche film if he went with this. Um, but it's interesting, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, if you get a chance to pick it up, Dark Horse Comics, the Star Wars. They made they made a point to say the Star Wars. Before Star Wars, there was the Star Wars. So I guess that's a big deal, apparently. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I apologize. I know this video seems a little rushed. All of my videos really seem like they're just the ramblings of a madman. But I don't talk about like straight up comic books very often, so I'm very new at reviewing or discussing things in general, but especially comic books, seeing as how I never do this. I'm very new at it. Also, I legitimately forgot it was Star Wars Day, so I didn't have enough time to prepare as I normally would. So again, I apologize for that, but I really wanted to get some Star Wars related content out today. I was thinking about doing the Star Wars manga, but obviously forgot. So, or Star Wars Visions, but I don't have Disney Plus, so maybe we'll talk about that at some other time or next year. I'm sure I'll have a year to prepare for Star Wars Visions. But anyway, regardless of any of that, I hope you guys took something away from the video. Again, I know it was all over the place, but I hope you enjoy it. Have a great Star Wars day. Leave your favorite Jedi in the comments below. Mine is Qui-Gon Jinn. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. May the 4th be with you. I will see you again very soon. Bye.